Hello everyone and welcome to my May book haul. I've done pretty well this month in not buying all of the books in the world. Considering I did a two-part book haul last month, I only have 18 books to show you today and I've already read 5 of them. So I'm pretty pleased with that. That's not too bad, is it? So yeah, I'm gonna get right on into it. The first one you will know that I got if you saw my recent Owlcrate unboxing, and that is Everland by Wendy Spinali. This is a steampunk retelling of Peter Pan, which I'm really excited to get to. Absolutely beautiful cover with, I'm guessing, Tinkerbell on the front, and it's got the decal edges and the title is embossed on the front and it's got the gold writing on the spine. I'm just hoping that the story inside is as beautiful, so I'm sure it will be. I will be reviewing it when I get around to it as well because it is a new release. The next one I actually won in a Goodreads giveaway, which I was really excited about because I hardly ever win them, and that is Chasing the Stars by Mallory Blackman. Mallory Blackman is a really popular children's and YA author. I think she's the Children's Laureate, or if she isn't, then she was until very recently. I think this is a YA retelling of the Shakespeare play Othello, which I read and studied for A-level English all those years ago back in school, so I'm really interested to see how she adapts it for a YA audience. I will also be reviewing this when I get around to it as well because it's quite a new release, so I'd like to add my thoughts into that midst. The next one is a first volume of a new comic series that I got recently from Amazon, and that is I Hate Fairyland Volume 1 Madly Ever After by Scotty Young. I've already read this and absolutely loved it. I read it in one sitting, as I normally do with graphic novels and comics, but I was just laughing the entire time I was reading it. It's so cute and so funny. I will talk about it more in my wrap up, but I did give it 5 stars. It's about a little girl who finds herself in fairyland and she's trying to escape, but she's been trying to escape for years, so therefore she's quite angry and frustrated with this cute happy land. If you like Adventure Time, it's that kind of similar sense of humour, so yeah, it's so cute. I will talk about it more in my wrap up, as I said. The next one you will know that I got this month because I've been talking about it on Twitter and just gushing over it. Every booktuber in the world, I think, got this book this month as well, and that is, of course, A Court of Mr Puri by Sarah J Maas. This is the sequel to A Court of Thorns and Roses, which came out last year. Yes, I've read it. Yes, I've reviewed it. I will leave a link to my review in the description down below. I will talk about it more in my wrap up as well, but I will just say that it is just... I have no real words that I haven't already said 1,000 times, but Sarah J Maas has written another amazing YA fantasy novel. It's just beautiful. It really is, and I don't think I can say any more about it. So yeah. The next couple of books have been on my Amazon wishlist for a little while now, and they finally had price drops enough that I felt comfortable in buying them. So the first one is Rumble by Ellen Hopkins. I haven't actually read any Ellen Hopkins, but I've heard some really good things about her on BookTube. She normally writes quite dark topics, I think. And I do have another one of her books. I have a book called Crank by her, which, as I said, I haven't picked up yet, but she tends to write in verse, which I think is really interesting. And I've not read many books that are written in verse, but I feel like I might fly through it when I do finally get to it. I think this one deals with suicide, homophobia, coming of age, that kind of thing. So yeah, but I have heard some really good things about it, so I'm really excited. The next one is Geek Love by Catherine Dunn. For some reason this book is normally quite expensive, and I still paid like £7 for it, which is £2 cheaper than it normally is, and I don't know why, because I mean it is just a normal, not particularly big paperback, so I don't know why it's normally so expensive, but this is like a cult classic apparently. It has a lot of celebrity fans such as Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love, Douglas Coupland, who else it says on the back here, Terry Gilliam of Monty Python, Jeff Buckley, Audrey Niffenegger, who wrote Time Traveller's Wife, which I loved. So yeah, it's got a lot of praise from a lot of well-known people, and I think the best way I could describe it to you is just to read the blurb, so that's what I'm going to do. Lil Binewski, born a Boston aristocrat, was in her time the most stylish of geeks. That is to say, she made her living by biting the heads off live chickens in front of a carnival audience. This she gave up for doting motherhood because she and her fairground-owning husband had a money-spinning idea. Throughout each pregnancy, Lil gobbles pesticides, experiments with drugs, and douses herself with radiation to ensure that she produces infants grotesque enough to keep the turnstiles clicking. She does. Arturo the Aquaboy is a limbless megalomaniac. Electro and Iphigenia are musically gifted conjoined twins with a penchant for prostitution, and Fortunato is possessed of strange telekinetic powers. Their story, by turns shocking, tender, touching, and cruel, is narrated by their sister Olympia. She is a bald, hunchbacked albino dwarf. So it's just about a family of misfits and their carnival lifestyle, I think. And it just sounds really weird and really out there, and I'm excited to see what I think of it. So yeah. The next series, of course, I've read, but I didn't have a physical set of them, so I thought I'm just going to treat myself to them. I bought it in The Works, which is a mostly book, but they also sell like crafts and various other things for cheap prices that we have here, and that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I read them on my Kindle years ago, and I've just never had a physical set of them, so I thought, okay, well, I'll just treat myself to them. I got them for £7, I think. So yeah, so of course there is The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. So yeah, now I have a physical set of them and they can sit on my shelf and look pretty. So yeah. The next one I also got at The Works, and I only paid a couple of pounds for it, and that is Sophies World by Jostein Gaarder. This is a really interesting story that I've heard a little bit about. It's about a girl who receives postcards not addressed to her, and she doesn't know the person who they are addressed to, and she kind of thinks obviously that's a bit weird. And then I think she becomes interested in philosophy. I think she finds a guy who teaches her philosophy, and through her new interest in philosophy, she starts to question who she is, and I think she starts to wonder if she's connected to the girl that these postcards are addressed to. And I think there's a fantasy element to it as well. It sounds really interesting. I've heard a little bit about it on other people's channels, and as I said, it was only a couple of pounds, so I thought, well, I'll just pick that up and give it a go. All of the other books in this book haul I got in charity shops, and I've talked about my love for charity shops before. They are a great way of getting cheap books. So the first two I'm going to show you, I cannot tell you how excited I was to see these in a charity shop. I've wanted them for a while, and they are in great condition for 99p each, and I was like, oh my god, do people not know what they're giving away? And that is Eon by Alison Goodman and Eona by Alison Goodman. I've wanted this duology for quite some time. I don't actually know that much about it. It's obviously fantasy, it's got the dragon on it, and I know it's got gender bending in it, cross-dressing. I think it's a little bit like Mulan. That's what I've gleaned from other booktubers, but I know it's quite a popular duology, and it's quite hard to get hold of here in the UK as well, certainly in these gorgeous huge hardbacks. And just for 99p each, I was just like, oh my god, I need them now. So I really hope that I do enjoy them. I think I will. So yeah, we will see. Dragons, gender bending, fantasy. I think I will really enjoy it. So yeah. The next one I also got in a charity shop, and this is a nice hardback of Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groudon. I think this is quite a new release. I think it came out either earlier this year or late last year, and it was doing its rounds on the booktubes when it came out. I think this is a time travel story about a girl who is on a mission to kill Hitler. So that's pretty much all I know about it, but I'm looking forward to it, and I think it got pretty good reviews as well. So I'm excited to see what I think about it. So of course I'm excited for these books. I wouldn't have bought them or acquired them otherwise. That's like the stock book haul phrase, I know. So yeah. The next one is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me by Mindy Kaling. I haven't actually seen the Mindy project, but I do really like how Mindy Kaling comes across in interviews and on social media and things like that. I think she's really funny. So I will start watching the Mindy project at some point. And I have wanted to read this book for quite some time as well. I think this is an autobiography or just possibly like a little collection of essays or just kind of her musings on life or something like that. But I've heard pretty good things about it, and I do find her quite funny and quite relatable and things like that. So yeah, I hope I will enjoy this. The next one is another popular recent release, and that is The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge. From what I know about this, I think this is about a girl whose father dies, and while she's going through her things, she comes across this tree called the Lie Tree, which feeds on like lies and half-truths and things like that. I don't actually know that much else about it, but it won the Costa Book Award winner last year, and I think it's like quite dark and fantastical and haunting and things like that. So yeah, I've heard good things, so I'm hoping that I will like it too. The next one is Changeless by Gail Carriger. This is the second book in the Parasol Protectorate series. I have the first book, Soulless. I think this is a 5-book steampunk time travel series, something like that. So I have the first 2 now, and I want to collect them all before I start reading it. I think it's got kind of supernatural and Victorian elements to it as well. Both of those things I really enjoy, so I think I am going to like this series. I've heard really good things as well, so yeah. We have 2 more to go, guys. 2 more. The next one is Dance Macabre by Stephen King. This is a non-fiction by him, and this is his thoughts on the genre of horror in general, which I'm really, really excited about because I think of him as like the master of horror. So I'm really interested to see his thoughts on its development over time, its relevance to today's society in books, films, TV, everything. So yeah, I'm really excited to dip into his non-fiction. I have read his book on writing as well, and that kind of helped me when I was a creative writing student. So I'm excited to see what he thinks about the horror genre, because I really, really like him as a person as well as a writer. So I'm hoping that I will enjoy this. And the last book is a little bit of a gamble for me, actually, but I did only pay 99p for it, so I thought, well, that's a gamble worth making, I think, and that is Old Man's War by John Scalzi. This is an adult sci-fi book, and I think I've mentioned before that I am a little bit intimidated by adult sci-fi in general, because I don't know if I can really kind of get into it. I don't really know if it's my sort of thing, but I am wanting to get into it at some point. I know this is the first book in a series by John Scalzi, and I've heard good things about him as a sci-fi writer, so I'm hoping that this might be possibly a good place to start. I know the gist of this series is about a world where when you are 75 you can join the army and fight against alien races for another planet or something like that, I think. I don't know. I think it's quite a long series, and I'm not sure if it's finished yet or not. So I will give it a go and see if I like it. I don't know exactly when I'm going to give it a go. I think I have to kind of work myself up to read it, but we will see. And that is it for my May book haul. I hope you enjoyed it. What books did you get this month? I hope you're having an awesome day. I will, of course, leave all my social media down below as normal, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye bye.